Hello, this is Cyrus from Sirus Gaming Spot, and this is Sirus Gaming Corner, a podcast where I and Sophie1390 talk about various gaming topics. From old games to new, everything is fair game. So, how are you this evening, Sword?
Going good. Always good to do another episode.
So, for today's episode, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about a phenomena that has happened throughout the years that we've been in gaming, so to say. That is to say, watching other people play video games, aka let's play or streaming. So, do you have any opinion on streaming or let's plays, Sword?
I honestly, not only do I don't think I have a problem with it. I actually think they're kind of cool because it could be a variety of reasons why I think it could be a good thing. One could be like if maybe you don't want to replay a game, but you maybe either want to re-experience it or you want to like go back and like watch something maybe you missed during the game that you're playing through. Or there could even be people that are really not into video games, but are into maybe like the story that's being told, and then they'll be happy to watch a stream or something like that. And plus with a live stream, I think because of the interactivity, it could make it for a much more like engaging experience. So honestly, when it comes to streaming, or like Twitch streaming and things like that, I actually think they're cool.
Okay. For me, like, I do like watching streams of Let's Plays just to see people's reaction to certain moments in video games. Like, I think it's interesting to see what their reaction is. Like, I've seen like various videos and streams of like the Tales games, see how people would react to certain moments in the story. There's Abyss, Berseria, Vesperia, along with other games as well as story games. I think it's interesting to see how people react to the story moments in video games too. And
I definitely think those are kind of like my favorite kinds of live reaction too, is because there's like a scene coming up and you're like, oh, that scene's happening. You can't wait to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah. With that said, I know this is strange since I do stream a bit in the weekend, especially nowadays since I play Tales of games with my friend. But that's mostly just record footage, just in case if I need it, I think. Like, I don't really expect to have any viewers watching them. So like the streaming part is just like secondary to me just having some footage on hand if I do want to make a video on them someday, you know?
Okay, yeah, that way it's always there. Yeah, it's interesting.
That's it. I'm not sure if I'm a person who will be able to sit through an entire stream. Like, I'm able to do like 2-3 hours, but I'm not sure if I'd be able to keep it stream like for 8 or 9 hours. But if I just watching the stream.
Yeah, like that. For me too. Like, I couldn't sit there and watch like an entire stream from start to finish. That's like an all day thing that I unfortunately don't have.
I think it's no problem if you're streaming yourself and you're playing a game. I think that it's like I done 8 or 9 hour sessions myself.
Yeah,
so that's no problem.
I think it's different if you're playing it between and watching it too. I think there's a big
but yeah, like for streaming and let's play, I do think like one of the bigger appeals for me in those type of videos is just seeing how people react to either certain story moments or certain gameplay moments.
But like, yeah, I think those are the time streams are the most entertaining because like if I'm like I can't like you can't really be entertained if you're watching like an RPG and and the person is just like equipping their party or something like that. But like you're waiting for like this boss battle or this cutscene.
With that said, like I'm the sort of person who watch the streamer or let's player for the game itself rather than for the streamer themselves usually. Yeah.
Same. I mean that could be fun too, depending on who's streaming it. Like, there's entertainment in that too, but that's more of a bonus. Like, I agree. It's usually more so for the game itself.
Yeah. Since we're talking about streaming and let's plays, what do you think of Backseat Gaming? Since Backseat Gaming probably occurs more if you're streaming and or watching a let's play.
That's another thing where I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think both Backseat Gaming and streaming services are like both kind of good ways to like to be engaged in the game with the person that's playing it.
I will say,
that's kind of the way I look at it. Anyway.
Like, I can understand why people find Backseat Gaming annoying, just because like it can be patronizing sometimes. I think, even though like if somebody is doing something that, which I think is a lack of knowledge, then I would probably speak up, especially if something crucial.
Then I would be annoyed.
That you would be annoying.
I said, yeah, that would be annoying. Yeah.
For the viewer or the player?
I think more so for the player, probably, because they're like, "Oh, just stop."
No. I'm saying like if it seems like they don't know this mechanic, I would probably just like bring it up once.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, gotcha. I think it gets annoying. Where it gets annoying for Backseat Gaming is if people keep constantly telling you to use this one ability or one character because they're apparently meta. I think that's where Backseat Gaming gets annoying.
But yeah, like that's the thing where I think it's kind of like circumstantial. But yeah, I agree that's like maybe once is okay, but then after that, like if I was the player, I'd be kind of like, all right, I'm getting a headache after a while.
But yeah, like for me personally, I don't really speak up in streams unless I feel like it's absolutely necessary. I usually do it as a question. Yeah, rather than just telling them like, like, do you have any items? Is this a new item run? You know.
Like, hey, you should use this move. Use this move.
Yeah. No, like, because I have seen somebody. Recently I've seen someone play Tales of Rise without using any items, and like I was wondering like what was going on. So I just asked them if they were doing a no item run, and apparently they didn't know how you could use items from the menu. So and then that helped them since it allowed them to recover CP, which allowed them to heal more. You know.
Oh, so if anything, that was actually beneficial.
Yeah, I won't try to be too pushy, but if like I can't help it, if I see something like them making their life like 100 times harder without using this other mechanic.
Yeah, because then at that point, I think it gets kind of like frustrating to watch as a viewer too, when you're like, just use a fucking item already.
Yeah, like I think I get kind of frustrated watching some people play certain games if they don't use certain mechanics. I probably like this,
especially when it's.
I probably like this a lot with the Tales games when I see someone who play semi-auto instead of manual. Especially,
I've been guilty of that playing against semi-auto. I'm not gonna lie.
Especially in Vesperia, where like where you have manual canceling involved in there, which is really good. Or even the 2D Tales games where I don't know how people play semi-auto in those games, with how when you do attack the unit would just constantly just go back to their previous position or something, which I don't know, that bugs the hell out of me, which is why I played the game on manual.
I remember actually, yeah, it's funny you say that because I remember many years ago, this is back when I was like in high school or maybe just after high school, I had gotten Tales of Eternia, and I actually, because at the time I was playing on semi-auto and I kept that happening to me over and over again. I'm like, why does Reed keep running back and forth over and over again? And then I didn't realize, because like in the future Tales games, semi-auto wasn't as bad. It wasn't, it didn't do that. Like it has its issues too, don't get me wrong, but at least it wasn't like you're not like controlling Luke and then having him like take a step back every time you attack or something like that. So, but yeah, like if I was watching someone do that, I'm like, just please play on manual. This is just driving me wild. Like sometimes I feel like as a viewer, like even if you feel like you should, it's hard not to like try hard to speak up. Like it's just sometimes it just takes every ounce of willpower for me not to say something, depending on what I'm watching or what the Let's Player is doing.
Yeah. Which is why, like, usually I don't watch streams much, like in regards to their gameplay, because like people learn their own way, so like I don't want to ruin that too much. Yeah,
everybody plays games differently, so sometimes like someone might be doing something that you wouldn't do personally, but like it works for them. So, but like if I'm watching someone who like I maybe doesn't know what they're doing or is like struggling endlessly, I want to go to the comments and be like, hey, do this. But then I'm like, is it worth it? So I feel like Backseat Gaming is more of like a 50-50. It's like okay or not. Whereas I think that like just streaming in itself is cool. Like that's like not a bad thing at all. Or doing a let's play. I think that's all fine and dandy.
Yeah, I probably say like giving tips is okay, even though it might count as Backseat Gaming to a degree.
Yeah, that could, maybe. But I think that like if you're being like not being like a know-it-all about it, and you're just like, hey, I beat this game. Here's kind of like here's some tips. I think that's okay.
I guess it depends on the streamer too, or let's player, I think.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. You got to take into consideration too, because not everybody will respond the same way to certain things like that.
And even then, like even if I do get frustrated, like I don't play the game the same way as other people do. Like I play like in the most recent example, like I played all the Tales games in hard mode, or hardcore mode, or the hardest difficulty that's available in there. So like learning some tech is like required in those moments, but it might not be required like if you're playing a game on a normal or easier difficulty. Even though I think it's still cool to learn those techs, though, even if you are on normal on like easier difficulty. But like it's not required, so I can see why people don't bother like learning those. Like if you're playing on normal or the easy on the spare areas, like not learning manual cancel isn't the end of the world, even if it is extremely frustrating to see.
You're just like, god damn it, just do the manual cancel. But
especially if like it takes like I don't know, it's like the concept like takes a minute to learn. But,
it's like it doesn't require a big learning curve. Yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, like people learn their own way, and like the best way to learn is to be motivated yourself. To learn some mechanic. So because that shows that if you're like if someone's in your comment section and then they're like trying to like help you out, and then you're like, okay, that's good to know. That shows that you're engaged in not just the game itself but also the audience. Yeah. Do you think people who watch let's play or stream of game can be said to be fans of said game, even if they've never played the game?
I mean, I think so, because there could be a variety of reasons why like someone may not play a game physically. Maybe it's like, for example, it could be something like outside of their genre that they don't play personally, but like are okay like watching. Or again, it could also be like another story game, like if they were like stories the focus, then I mean
even story games have even so story games can have like the experiencing a story game from playing it yourself and engaging with how it handles how you progress the game can feel different from just outright just watching it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I definitely would say that you get more out of any game really, by actually physically playing it yourself. But I don't think it's also entirely wrong that you can like a game or be a fan of a game even if you're just watching a let's play of it, like because you're still like engaged in the experience even if you're not physically playing it. So I mean, it's kind of like I want to say yes, but like with an asterisk. Kind of at the end, because I feel like it's also kind of iffy.
Okay.
That's kind of how I look at it.
For me, it's like I'm okay with people watching the stream and liking the game a lot, but like I do think like if you do really like the game, you should at least try to play through the game once yourself. Because like like I think playing a game and watching a game is still totally different experiences.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. I definitely don't think that they're like the same experience.
Like for me, like in order to like be a truly fan of a game series, like you should be able to see both the good and bad the game does, and not just the good you see just from watching like a stream or let's play.
Yeah, like it's almost kind of like saying that you're a fan of a movie you haven't seen, but you've watched reviews of it. It's kind of like that. Like it's like definitely a completely passive experience that you're definitely not going to have the same level of engagement as you would if you actually physically played the game.
Yeah. Not to mention, like there are some games that are better playing than watching. So yeah.
Yeah. Because like I said, I mean, the thing is, I also look at like in circumstances like maybe the person, for example, maybe the person that's watching the game doesn't, I don't know, own the console that it's on, or you know, something like that, or maybe because like to give a personal example is there's like for me there's some games that I've always wanted to try, but they go for like $300-$400 because they're so rare. Like there's this game, the horror game that I really wanted to get my hands on, but can't because of its price. It's called Rule of Rose on the PlayStation 2. It's a horror game, and the price is in the triple digits, and that's just not the kind of money I'm willing to shell out. So that's the kind of game where I would just watch a Let's Play of it. So I think that if you look at like kind of the circumstances too, it could be, like I said, maybe the game is crazy expensive because of its rarity, and most people just aren't going to spend that kind of money on. So I don't think it's like too unreasonable for someone to be like, okay, you know, I'm just going to watch this game on a stream or a Let's Play, and then you could still, you know, like we both said, you know, it's not the same experience playing it, but I also think that something like that, as an example, is also like it's valid to like just say I'm just going to watch a Let's Play of it.
Yeah, that's just a supreme circumstance. I can understand.
Yeah,
but generally, I still like think you should at least try the game if you really like watching it through a Let's Play or stream.
The example I listed, that's definitely like a very specific example. But on average, most people that are watching a Let's Play probably have the means to physically play the game in some way. So yeah, I do agree that you definitely get a much lesser experience by just like observing it, rather than actually playing it yourself. I guess my answer would probably be like, I guess you can't really say you're a quote-unquote true fan of a game that you've only ever watched on a YouTube video.
Like, I don't have any problem with people saying they like a game, but like, I do feel their viewpoint should be measured since they haven't played through it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like extreme gatekeeping to some people, but that's just what I think.
Yeah, I think there's value in thinking that way, because you're just not gonna have, like, for example, someone who physically played the game might say, I just did not enjoy this because it's got so many, I don't know, like balancing issues or something. But someone who just watched it isn't gonna think that way because they didn't experience those issues. So they're gonna have two wildly different opinions of the same game.
Is there any other topic to talk about regarding streaming and Let's Plays?
Nothing really comes to mind.
Yeah, I think that's all for this topic. Pretty short topic, but you know.
Still interesting to talk about regardless.
Anyway, this is Sirus Gaming Spot signing off.
Take care, everyone.